University Challenge. Asking the questions, Jeremy Paxman.
Hello, another two of the UK's brightest student teams, allegedly, are with us tonight to reassure us that the future of the nation is in safe hands. Parts of Middlesex University served during World War II as a camp for captured Luftwaffe officers, so tonight's teams should feel quite at home as they enjoy Granada's canteen. Tonight's team are a group of 3 lawyers and 1 writer, so they're understandably concerned that they may be weak on the sciences. The next half hour will tell. Let's meet them.
Hi, I'm Adam Ralph, I'm from Middlesex and I'm studying writing and media.
Hello, Richard Selway from Exmouth in Devon, studying law.
And their captain?
Hello, I'm Anirudh Chari from Calcutta, India, and I'm reading legal studies and history.
Hello, my name is David Pettingill, I'm from London and I'm reading law and German.
Now, their opponents are Manchester University, who have a long and somewhat checkered history on this programme. They took part in the first ever recordings back in 1962 and were also responsible for the infamous show in 1976 when they protested about the supposedly elitist nature of the programme by answering Marx and Trotsky to each question. The resulting ban has only just been lifted. Let's see what tonight's team have got planned for us.
Hello, my name's David Dixon. I'm studying educational technology and I'm from Gloucester.
Hello, I'm Neil Fairweather from Sheffield, studying physics with astrophysics.
And their captain?
Hi, I'm Helen Morris from Manchester, studying history of science.
Hi, I'm Paul Cassidy. I'm from Mulgai in Eastern Bartonshire and I'm studying philosophy.
Well, I'm assuming you all know the rules. 10 points for starters, 15 for bonuses. Starters are individual efforts, bonuses are team efforts, 5-point penalties for incorrect interruptions to starter questions. Fingers on the buzzers. Here's your first starter for 10. Which scale was named in 1806 by the admiral who devised it and classified...
Middlesex Rav.
Beaufort.
The Beaufort wind scale is correct, yes. Your bonuses are on being right, Middlesex. Human beings are perhaps never more frightening than when they're convinced beyond doubt that they are right. Which South African writer and explorer wrote thus in The Lost World of the Kalahari in 1958?
Lawrence van der Post? Yeah. Lawrence van der Post.
Correct. He Knew He Was Right is a novel of 1869 by which author concerning the troubled marriage between Louis Trevelyan and Emily Rowley?
We pass.
It was Anthony Trollope. I Knew I Was Right is the autobiography published in 1997 of which columnist and author who has also published works on Diana, Princess of Wales and David Beckham?
Andrew Morton?
No, it was Julie Burchill. Another starter question now. Roughly 7 miles apart, Buyuk Agridar and Küçük Agridar are the greater and lesser peaks of which extinct volcanic massif in eastern Turkey overlooking the country's borders with Iran and Armenia?
Manchester Dixon.
Mount Ararat.
Mount Ararat is correct. Your bonuses, Manchester, are on famous Quakers. The USA has had 2 Quaker presidents, the 31st, who is Herbert Hoover, and which other, the 37th, who was also the first president born in California?
I'm trying to think. That was around the time of Jimmy Carter. It was him. Carter or one of the ones either side of him. Carter.
Was it Carter?
No, I think Carter came from Georgia, didn't he? No, it was Richard Nixon. Coming from a Quaker family, which British surgeon and scientist introduced carbolic acid as an antiseptic in 1865 and so reduced surgical mortality in his operations by 2/3?
Lister?
It was Joseph Lister. Born in a Quaker family in 1766, which chemist and physicist carried out the first systematic study of colour blindness from which he and his brother both suffered?
Dalton?
John Dalton is right, yes. So, fingers on the buzzers, another starter question. The sphere, hanging from a long wire set into the ceiling of the choir, swayed back and forth with isochronal majesty. This is the first line of which word...
Manchester Dixon.
Foucault's pendulum.
It is Foucault's pendulum by Umberto Eco. Your bonuses are on the Nobel Prize for Medicine, Manchester. The German physician Gerhard Domack was awarded the 1939 Nobel Prize for his discovery of the therapeutic use of which chemical? The first of the sulfur drugs, SULFA, drugs in destroying streptococcic bacteria.
Sulfonamides?
No, it's Prontosil. In 1979, Alan Cormack and Sir Godfrey Hounsfield received the Nobel Prize for developing which procedure?
Test tube babies?
No, it's the CAT scan. And in 1990, the American physician E. Thomas Donnell, noted for his research into cancer, was co-recipient of the Nobel Prize for his work in which specific area of the transplant field? Come on.
Heart transplant?
No, it was bone marrow transplant. Another starter question now. Also known as animal starch, which polysaccharide is the major store of carbohydrate energy in animal cell?
Manchester Morris.
Glycogen.
Glycogen is correct. Here are your bonuses, Manchester. Which set of mathematical functions among the most commonly occurring in physics and engineering is named after the 19th century German astronomer who derived them in about 1817 while investigating the solution of one of Kepler's equations of planetary motion?
Gauss?
No, they're Bessel functions. Bessel, when he measured the distance of 61 Cygni, became the first person to measure the distance of a star by observing its difference in direction from two widely separated points. What name is given to this apparent movement of a celestial body?
Parallax?
Correct. Bessel had an important share in the discovery of which planet when he drew attention to small irregularities in the orbit of Uranus and concluded they must be caused by an unknown planet beyond.
Neptune.
Neptune is right. We're going to take our first picture round now. For your picture starter, you're going to see a photograph of a British cathedral. 10 points if you can name it.
Middlesex Selway.
Exeter.
It is Exeter Cathedral, yes. So for your bonuses, Middlesex, you're going to see 3 more British cathedrals. You get 5 points for each one you can name. Here's the first.
Norwich. Here it is. Norwich?
No, that's Canterbury Cathedral. Here's the second.
Coventry.
It is Coventry Cathedral, yes. And finally...
Salisbury?
No, that is Wells Cathedral. Another starter question. Who, whilst making several unsuccessful attempts to enter Parliament, published the first sections of a blank verse poem in 1834 in celebration of the French Revolution? A poem he abandoned when he was returned as the member for Maidstone in 1837.
Middlesex Selway.
Disraeli.
It was Benjamin Disraeli, yes. These bonuses could take you into the lead, Middlesex, if you get them. They're on poetic pastiches. Firstly, for 5, supposedly reading the blurb on a packet of cornflakes, of which poet's work is this a pastiche? Serious over my cereals, I broke one breakfast my fast, with something to read searching retinas retained by print on a packet.
Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
No, it's Anthony Brode's parody of Gerard Manley Hopkins. Which poet was imagined living in 1984 in these lines? In my splendid state apartment underneath a secret lock, finger now forbidden treasures, pray for me, St. Enodoc, TV plate and concrete lamppost, and a single nylon sock.
Sir Stephen Spender.
No, it was Charles Causley's parody of Betjeman. And finally, for a possible 5, which poem by which poet has been summarised thus? God's chase, round vase, what say, what play, don't know. Nice, though.
Ginsberg.
No, it's a parody of Ode on a Grecian Urn by Keats. Another starter question. An appearance in silhouette in the office of the Registrar of Births and Deaths in the 1976 film Family Plot was the last cameo appearance...
Manchester Dixon.
Alfred Hitchcock.
By Hitchcock, that's right. Your bonuses are on 19th century Germans, Manchester. Despite not having painted in oils until he was over 30, which German romantic artist became a leading figure in landscape painting, one of his first works being the altarpiece entitled The Cross in the Mountains?
Rolf Harris.
I'm not even going to dignify that by telling you you are surprisingly wrong. No, it's Caspar David Friedrich. Let's take another bonus question then. Which German businessman used the pen name Friedrich Oswald for his journalism and completed volumes 2 and 3 of Das Kapital from the notes left after Karl Marx's death?
Engels.
It was Friedrich Engels. 2 works by the German scholar Friedrich Nietzsche, A Mass of Life and a Requiem, were set to music by which British composer in the early 20th century?
Vaughan Williams.
That was Frederick Delius. Another starter question. No hanging around on this one, so buzz after you've got all 3. In the call signs adopted by NATO and approved by the International Civil Aviation Organization, which 3 words represent the letters L, M and N?
Manchester Cassidy.
Lima, Mike and Nero.
No, anyone want to buzz from Middlesex?
Middlesex Charlie.
Lima, Mike and November.
Lima, Mike, November is right, yes. Your bonuses, Middlesex, are on a European capital. Which European capital was destroyed on All Saints' Day in 1755 by one of the most destructive earthquakes ever recorded?
That was the Dutch.
Tirana in Albania.
No, it's Lisbon. Which English novelist died in Lisbon a year before the earthquake of 1755 and was the author of the Journal of a Voyage to Lisbon, published posthumously, and the parody, An Apology for the Life of Mrs. Shamala Andrews?
Pamela. What's his name? Pamela. Who wrote Pamela? Stern. Yeah.
Lawrence Stern.
No, it wasn't. It was Henry Fielding. You ought to have known that studying writing. And finally, for a possible 5, which type of melancholy, fatalistic song originated in the hillside districts of Alfama and Barrio Alto in Lisbon around the middle of the 19th century and has a name meaning fate in Portuguese?
Pass.
It's the Fado. Another starter question now. Which saint is this? A Saxon bishop, his remains were moved in 971 from a common churchyard to a shrine in Winchester Cathedral, whereupon it is said his body wept in protest, causing a downpour which lasted 40 days.
Manchester Dixon.
St. Swithin.
St. Swithin is right, yes. Your bonuses, Manchester, are on things or places spelled backwards. In which novel of 1872 does the narrator reach an undiscovered country and is put into prison where he's helped by his beautiful jailer Yoram and on his release goes to live with Mr. Nosnibor and his family?
Is it Erewhon? Erewhon?
Nominate Dixon.
Is it Erewhon?
It is Erewhon, yes. In 1952, by Samuel Butler, in 1952, an early version of the first part of which play appeared in Botteghe Obscure, a literary magazine published in Rome under the title Claregub.
Under Milkwood.
It is Under Milkwood. Claregub is bugger all spelt backwards, of course. Esired, or Desire backwards, is the name of a mirror at Hogwarts, which shows the heart's desire of whoever looks into it. What does Harry Potter see when he first looks into it?
His mother and father.
That's right, his family. Another starter question. After writing several plays and novels under the pseudonym Gordon Daviett, what pen name did the former PE teacher Elizabeth McIntosh use for her detective fiction, including The Franchise Affair and her...
Middlesex Ralph.
Josephine Tay.
Josephine Tay is right, yes. Prepare for your nightmare, Middlesex. The next set of bonuses off the pile is on mathematics. On your screens, you will see equations in x and y for rectangular two-dimensional coordinates. For each equation, tell me the shape of the curve represented. Here's the first.
Parabola.
No, that is a circle. Here's the second.
Any ideas?